Okay, we're up to Parshas Noach already. Okay, but we are up to Parshas Noach, but we are going to contrast Parshas Noach with Parshas Bereshis. So, yeah. Okay, so in this week's Parsha, Parshas Noach, Parak Ches Pasuk Aleph, it says as follows: Vayiskar Elokim es Noach. Hashem remembered Noach. V'eskal achaya, v'eskal behema, asher itai bateva, all the animals that were with him in the ark, etc. Okay, so what happens is Noach and his family and the animals were in the teva for 40 days and nights, and now Hashem remembers Noach. It's time for Noach to come out of the teva and to repopulate the world. And the terminology that's used in the pasuk is Vayiskar Elokim. Hashem remembered, but the word, the characteristic, we know Hashem has many names. So the name of Hashem that's used is specifically the name Elokim. What do you know about the name Elokim? Midas Hadin. Okay. We're going to contrast that. And Vayiskar Elokim, right? Elokim is remembering Noach. What kind of situation is that? Is that a good thing or a not good thing? That Hashem is remembering Noach, that he should take him out of the teva. Sounds like a good thing. Okay, so perfect. So you're already coming to the question. The name of Hashem that's being used is a quality of justice, a quality of justice, judgment, strictness. For what? For something compassionate, like Noach and the family and all the animals to be able to leave the teva. It wasn't fun. It wasn't easy to be in a teva. Not for anyone. And now, now we're going to contrast that with Parshas Bereshis, chapter 6, verse 5 and 7, where we see a different characteristic of Hashem, a different name of Hashem being used. And for what? What does it say? Vayar Hashem, the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, which what kind of name is that? A name of Rachamim. Vayar Hashem ki raba ra sa'adam ba'aretz. Hashem saw that the wickedness of man was great upon the earth, etc. And I'm skipping a little bit. And then Vayemer Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, the name of Hashem that we know for Rachamim. Vayemer Hashem, Emcha es ha'adam, I will dissolve man, Asher barasi, who I created. So in Parshas Bereshis, a situation where Hashem wants to wipe out humanity. What terminology do we see? We see Yud Kei Vav Kei, a term of compassion for an outcome of destruction, versus in our parsha where we have an outcome of compassion, and we have the name of Hashem is a name of judgment, a name of strictness, Midas Hadin. So our first question is, why is there a mismatch? Why is the quality, the characteristic of Hashem opposite the outcome? So that's question number one. So instead of me asking a bunch of questions and answering them, I'm gonna try to make it a little bit easier. I'm gonna ask a question, I'm gonna answer it right away, even though I'm deviating from the structure. Okay, so the answer is that it does make sense when speaking about destroying humanity to use the term of Hashem of Rachamim. Why? Because there is a principle that we find all the way in the beginning of the Torah. If you go to the first pasuk, what does it say? Bereshis bara Elokim. Hashem, when Hashem created the world, right? It says the word Elokim. And what does Rashi say?
Yeah, the tendency will create the world only with Midat Adin, but really it's not going to have, not going to be able to exist. So yeah, which means so.
Excellent. Okay, I just want to see if I can find it. Oh, okay. Bara Alekim. I'm reading from Rashi. Welcome. V'loi ne'emar, it does not say bara Hashem. It doesn't say Yudkei Vavkei. Shebetchila, because at first, Olav Machshava rose in thought. Hashem considered, so to speak, livroise, to create it midas hadin, with the attribute of strict judgment. But he saw that the world could not last if he created the world with judgment. Hikdim midas rachamim. Two things. He gave precedence to the attribute of mercy. That's number one. And number two, vishitfa, and he joined it, the midas hadin, to the attribute of strict judgment. This is the meaning of that which it is written in chapter 2 of Bereshis. On the day of Hashem's, God's making of earth and heaven. When Hashem actually created it, it says Hashem and Elikim. It uses both, Yudkei Vavkei and Elikim. Okay, so what happened? When Hashem thought of creating the world, initially, he thought to create the world with din. But he said, if I create the world with judgment, everything has to be fair and square, then the world is not going to exist. So therefore, he did two things. Number one, he made Midas Harachamim to take priority, to take precedence over Midas Hadin, which means that if the world is in a state of the balance, what should Hashem do? Din or Rachamim? Rachamim is always going to win. And additionally, and he joined Midas Harachamim to Midas Hadin, which means that Din cannot operate in this world without the authority of Midas Harachamim. Midas Harachamim has to give permission. If there's a balance, Midas Harachamim comes first, Midas Harachamim takes priority, and even in a situation where there's no choice but to have punishment, Midas Harachamim has to be consulted with and has to give its permission.
You have to explain more.
This is Rashi.
No, I'm meaning to say like more facts, because maybe like the day to day. I hear what you just said, but hold on, because okay, I'll wait. They will say wait.
No, because it's tricky, right? Because if the world runs by din, I understand that, then the world wouldn't exist. But the other part is that Rachamim, so I always know that if I do anything wrong, then it's always going to Rachamim. So then there's.
But it doesn't mean that there's no judgment and there's no, but still, it's not, it's good judgment, there's also the Rachamim, and Rachamim comes first, but it's not like, if we go all do whatever we want, because, there's accountability. It's not like,
Yes. Okay. So we need to have din because we need accountability. This world is here for Yidden to do Torah mitzvahs. And therefore, there has to be a concept of schar and einesh, and therefore we do need din. There has to be a concept of din. You can't have.
Not only the einesh.
Right? Yes.
Because,
what you deserve. To get what you deserve.
Also by the, strict law, so to speak, by the Midat Hadin.
Is Midas Hadin?
Something about the manas without it. Something
No, sometimes you get more with stars like 2,000 times more than.
Yeah, we by default get more. We wake up in the morning, go here, and we get more than what we earn, what we deserve by the strict law. But Hashem always gives us more. He always gives us
Okay. Okay. So we have to determine. We're determining a principle. The principle, the Torah principle, which I just read from Rashi, is that Hashem originally wanted to create the world with din, only din. He saw that the world, it wasn't feasible, that the world, it won't last, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So because this world is a dark place where Hashem is not revealed, So if you're going to do everything according to din, what's just, it's not fair. We're never going to able to. We're not going to be able to make it. So therefore, Hashem did two things. He partnered midas harachamim with midas hadin. That midas hadin can't just do whatever it wants. It needs the authority, needs the permission of midas harachamim. And even before that, Hashem prioritized rachamim over din. That rachamim gets the first say. Rachamim is the priority. Rachamim takes precedence over din. That's a law that Hashem said. So now we're going to answer the question. We asked, when it comes to destroying humanity, how could it be that the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, which represents Rachamim, that should be the characteristic of Hashem, the name of Hashem that's being used? I mean, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, how does that match with destroying the world? So the answer is that there's a principle that Rachamim takes precedence and it has a priority over din. And it has to work a partner with din. So if it would say, Hashem says, Hashem is going to wipe out the world, right? Hashem is going to demolish the world. And if he uses the word Elikim, which is din, we're going to all come running with a question. Hashem, you said that Rachamim takes priority. So how could you just destroy the world with din? Where is the Rachamim? Where is Rachamim taking priority? Where do we see a partnership of Rachamim and din? Therefore, we don't have a question of why, when Hashem wants to destroy the world because of the wickedness of the people, why you have the term Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. We don't have a question because we already know that Rachamim takes precedence over din. Rachamim has to partner with din. There's no such thing as din without Rachamim. When it comes to such a big, huge punishment of destroying the world, of a mabul, yes, we need to have Yud-Kei Vav-Kei over there, because if we just had Elikim, we would question this principle. Hey, where is the Rachamim? This world can't survive without Rachamim.
You're saying that it wasn't punishment, it was Rachamim. It was compassion.
Well, you went very deep.
You went very deep.
You went very deep. Well, okay, you went.
Okay, you went very deep, and I needed to hold it because we're going to need it.
Let's go back to what you taught us about the Marayim, that the Hashems weren't getting it in this like that they did, and that's why Hashem put them. So that always calms me down.
I also see that that's what I hear about people who are killed or it's horrible.
It's punishment. It calms me down in life now when I
Go
go
with
back.
my intention
I
on school.
look back at
That's
things that hurt me and I go like, my
The end.
Hashem needed this at this time. Not it's going to be good and one day I'll see it. This is what my Hashem needed at this time, and it just takes away the hurt.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna touch upon a lot of the sensitive topics today. So everything that you're saying is gold. Okay, thank you. Okay, next question. Okay, so far we understand why we have Yud-Kei Vav-Kei when it talks about destroying about the mabul. Makes sense. You need Rachamim whenever there's din. Fine. Next question. Why doesn't Rashi speak about this, address this in Parshas Bereshis? As soon as there's a mismatch between Rachamim and the destruction of mabul, right over there in Bereshis, Ben Chamish and Mikra could ask this question: why you have Yud-Kei Vav-Kei Rachamim together with a mabul right over there in Bereshis? Rashi should have brought this up. Rashi doesn't say anything over there. Only in our pasuk, where you have Hashem remembering Noach, and it uses the term Elikim, over here, now he's not only explaining this pasuk, this mismatch, he's also explaining the mismatch in Bereshis. Why explain it over here? Why not explain it the first time the problem arises? And I'll read you the Rashi. In Parshas Noach, okay, by Yiskar Elikim, I'm reading chapter 8, Rashi 1. God remembered, Zeh Hashem, this name, Midas Hadinhu. It connotes the attribute of judgment. The Nehefcha, the Midas Rachamim. it was transformed into the attribute of mercy. I'm just going to do the English, through the prayer of the righteous, and the wickedness of the wicked transforms the attribute of mercy into the attribute of judgment. As it says, and Hashem, the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, saw that man's evil was great, and Hashem, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, said, I will dissolve. This is the name usually associated with the attribute of mercy. So Rashi comes and tells us this novel thing, a brand new chiddush, that we didn't know when we were learning Bereshis. Tells us a brand new chiddush, and that is that we have the power to transform Midas Hadin into Midas Harachamim. And we also, believe it or not, have the power to take Midas Harachamim through very bad behavior and to turn it into Midas Hadin. This is something that's novel, brand new, earth-shattering new concept. And again, we have to ask ourselves, what compels Rashi now to say this? Why didn't he say it before? What is the difference between in Bereshis and in Parashas Noach? That over here now Rashi could explain this whole big concept that of the power of transformation of the midah of din into rachamim, rachamim into din. And only now, because of this verse, Vayiskar Elokim, because of something that's happening now, we're able to understand something not only for our parsha, but for the previous parsha. And what's the proof that we have the power to transform din to rachamim and vice versa? This is what we're going to speak about right now.
But didn't we have transformations in Bereshis and in Noach? Two different ones.
So
One is first and one is like the chaotic one with Noach. They were both transformations.
So the question that the Rebbe is asking is if there's a transformation in Parashas Bereshis, then why don't you tell it to us then? Why are you waiting till?
Why do we even have this question? Why is it important this question to begin with? That's my question.
It's an unbelievable chiddush, an unbelievable concept that humans have the power to transform Hashem's midah of judgment into a midah of rachamim. That is mind-blowing.
Who is saying that?
Rashi.
Rashi's saying that.
The question is why it doesn't say it in the beginning, why it says it. That's the main question.
Why is he waiting to say it?
Okay, I'm not, okay, I'll wait.
Okay, we'll get the answers. Then we'll understand the questions.
If we want to translate something from din to rachamim, which we all do, how do we know what's din and what's rachamim? How do we know what we're asking for?
Yeah, and then you said it was partnership before, now you're saying it's one and the same, or they could intertwine. You're saying a lot of things.
Wow.
You have to always,
Good.
that's where you change from like Rosh
Okay.
Hashanah to Shana Rabbah, the whole period. The question comes up, like it was sealed, Yom Kippur, then we have Yom Shana Rabbah. There's that time that's known that we can still change.
Yeah.
Rachamim,
Right.
davening.
Okay, so we're making a bunch of statements, but each statement is still 100% true. It's true that that Rachamim precedes, takes priority over judgment and has to partner with judgment. Yes, and it's also true that that there's a power of transformation, which we're going to talk about. Okay. So let's go back to the question. The question was, why doesn't Rashi speak about this in Bereshis? In Bereshis, we have this concept that we have the name of Hashem, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, and we have a Mabel. It's a mismatch. And so why doesn't Rashi address it there? So comes Esti Fried, and Esti Fried says, to say that we have the power to transform Hashem's mercy into judgment, that's very far-fetched. That's very far-fetched. So we'd rather take something much simpler. There's a much simpler solution for why Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is used for the Mabel. So Rashi would rather take the easier route rather than give a mind-blowing thing of talk about transformation. So in Bereshis, he's not compelled. Rashi is not compelled to talk about transformation because he has another interpretation. He could give you another answer for why you have Yud Kei Vav Kei when you're talking about the Mabul. Comes our parsha, and our parsha forces Rashi to teach us this concept of transformation, and therefore Rashi, and once you talk about transformation here, we're going to go back and say the transformation also applies earlier. But what could Rashi say? To talk about this transformation thing is way too deep. So it's not our first choice in Bereshis. So what is Rashi? So what answer could have Ben Chamish Mikra come up with to say why is Yud Kei Vav Kei? Why is Yud Kei Vav Kei in the same pasuk as talking about the destruction of a Mabul? So we already know there's a concept, something called an abbreviated pasuk. An abbreviated pasuk means that the pasuk is like a little bit shorthand. It's telling you in very, very short, and you have to fill in a couple of words to make it make sense. So we already have this concept of an abbreviated pasuk. So we could go back to this pasuk in Bereshis, and we could add a couple of words, and we can make it make sense with using the word Yud Kei Vav Kei. How would we make it sense? How would we make sense out of it? What would we say? So let's look at it. It's chapter 6. Chapter 6. What does it say? Vayomer Hashem, and Hashem said Yud Kei Vav Kei, right? Emches Adam Asher Barasi, I will dissolve man who I created, or even if I go earlier. Okay, either way, wherever the name Yud Kei Vav Kei is, how could I? It's really an abbreviation. What do we say? Midas Harachamim, Yud Kei Vav Kei gave authority and agreed to Midas Hadin to actually destroy humanity. So when it says Vayomer Hashem and Yud Kei Vav Kei, Hashem's name Midas Harachamim said, Emchas Adam, I will dissolve man who I created. There's a couple of words in between. You have to fill in the blank, read between the lines, and the Midas Harachamim gave permission for Midas Hadin to destroy the world. So Rashi, therefore Rashi doesn't have to tell you. Rashi doesn't have to say, oh, Midas Harachamim was transformed to Midas Hadin. He doesn't have to say that. Rather, he prefers, so far he doesn't have to go to the transformation thing. He could just say that you have to read in between the lines. And when it says Vayomer Hashem, and Hashem said, Yud Kei Vav Kei said, Emchas Adam, what it means is that the Midas Harachamim gave permission for Midas Hadin to actually destroy the world. It wasn't Midas Harachamim that destroyed the world, rather Midas Harachamim gave permission for Midas Hadin destroyed the world. Just fill in a couple of words. So therefore, Rashi doesn't have to say anything in Bereshis. Okay. So now we understand. So what do we understand so far? We understand why Yud Kei Vav Kei is in the same pasuk as destroying the world, because Midas Rachmim takes precedence over din and has to give permission, and it gave permission for Midas Hadin to destroy the world. Beautiful. But now this doesn't help us to answer our pasuk. Now we're going to go back to Parshas Noach. Now what does it say in Parshas Noach? Vayizkar Elokim es Noach. Midas Hadin remembered Noach. Who needs Midas Hadin over here? If we're talking about a situation of compassion, situation of opening up the teva, Noach could come out, his family could come out, they could repopulate the world, the animals could come out, and it's great. As a matter of fact, in the teva, the animals weren't allowed to mate. People weren't allowed to have intimacy. So there was a lot of things that stopped. That now that so it's a big comfort. It's a big Yeshua that the Mabul is over and that the world could be repopulated. So who needs Midas Hadin in this situation? Why do you need Elikim? Why Elikim? Basically Elikim. Who needs Elikim? Why? What do we need Elikim here for? What do we need Midas Hadin? What does we need Midas Hadin when it comes to this concept of basically freeing everyone to go out, letting everyone out of the Teva?
Instead of the favor, it's justice.
No, go for it.
Justice or
No, justice could be good. I'm saying, why is it a question? Din doesn't have to be bad. I mean, justice is served, and he was let out.
so
Din
what?
is din, and rachamim is rachamim.
All right.
So within which is still right.
Okay, so the yeah. So I'm saying justice has a good connotation in English, right? But the Hebrew word that we're dealing with is din versus rachamim, and justice, justice is in a way it has a good connotation, but in a way it's also scary. Going before a judge is scary. Judgment is scary. Even if even if at the end you'll be innocent, it's still not a comfortable thing. Judgment is never comfortable. But the din, whichever word you want to use, but why is there what judgment is there here in a situation of rachamim when the teva is being opened? Why is there what place is there for judgment here? That what's being judged? There's no judgment here.
What do you mean by the teva being open?
The mabul is over and everyone could come out of the teva. After now in Parashas Noach we're talking about we're not talking about the beginning of the parsha. We're talking a couple of chapters in where everyone is where the mabul is over and everyone is Hashem remembered Noach in the teva and the mabul is going to and how does the pasuk end? I'll read the pasuk again. God remembered Noach and all the beasts and all the animals that were with him in the ark, and God caused the spirit to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. Okay, that helps. Yeah. Okay, so it's after the mabul.
COVID and the kids are only going back to school.
Okay, COVID and the kids are going back to school. Perfect. Okay, when the kids are going back to school, there's no judgment here. It's just yay, post Sukkot, okay. A couple of weeks of vacation, the kids are back to school. Everyone's back. So yeah, okay. So there's no judgment here. What judgment? Why do we need Midas Hadin when it's coming to the concept of remembering Noach? Okay. Remembering Noach is the first step in a process. First, Noach gets remembered. The waters subside, that everyone comes out. Then Noach brings sacrifices to Hashem, and ultimately this leads to a bris, to a covenant. That's why I put a picture of the rainbow in the flyer, right? And what was the covenant? What was the bris going to be? That Hashem is never going to destroy the world again, right? Now, for Midas Harachamim to never destroy the world again, that's not a problem. Because Midas Harachamim doesn't want to destroy the world in the first place. We need Midas Hadin. Not only to give permission that that Rachamim should win and there should never be another Mabul, but Midas Hadin, even in theory, it shouldn't even come up a theory to destroy the world. And the only way that could happen is if Midas Hadin is transformed into Midas Harachamim. The only way we can have a guarantee that there will never be a Mabul again, that humankind won't be destroyed completely, the only way we could have that is if Midas Hadin is transformed into Midas Harachamim. And therefore, we have to have Midas Hadin in this pasuk. As soon as we're remembering Noach, we immediately have to have Elikim, because we need Elikim on board, and we need to actually transform Elikim so that the bris could actually be a guaranteed bris that no one will ever come to contest it. So that's why we need Elikim.
Wait. You need to repeat something. You need to repeat. Okay, can you switch it?
We need to have, we need to know if we can press the Elikim.
Oh, we're gonna get there. Oh, are we gonna get there?
That's what my head is.
Okay, we're
It needs to be both-
okay,
both
okay,
pieces, thin and, yeah.
okay. We're totally gonna get there.
Maybe it's more like the Yiskar Elohim is Noach, is that the din is coming to say that I will never destroy the world.
Because you need the tin.
It's not like really transform, it's just saying, the din is coming to say, it will never happen.
It's like setting in stone, like a
Right.
just tin.
Okay.
Like,
So the only way to guarantee that there won't even be a theory to destroy the world is if Midas Hadin is transformed to Midas Harachamim. It's not enough for Midas Hadin right now to come and say, okay, Midas Harachamim, you're right, you win, you come first, you're the priority, and we'll never destroy mankind again. What happens if in 2,000 years from the Mabul, or who knows how much later, the people will be so bad that Midas Hadin, they might be, shy and quiet under the table, and Midas Hadin will pop up and say, I know that Midas Racham is in charge, but just look how bad the people are, and bring up a svara, a theory. It won't even it might not happen practically. Practically speaking, the world will never be destroyed. But Hashem is making such a pact, such a bris, that not only in actuality won't the world ever be destroyed again, but Hashem wants to even the theory, even the possibility, the notion, the thought of destroying the world completely, even that the bris is such a strong bris that not just is it in practicality, but in theory, Midas Hadin should be transformed. Because as we learn in Tanya, as long as the Yetzer Hara, as long as the Nefesh Habahamis is not transformed, right? Then you have to be on guard. You have to be on guard. What if it pops up?
Basically, it's interesting because it's tricky, because these are the enemies, Sarachim is Hashem, right? Different names of Hashem.
Yes.
Hashem is running the world.
Yes.
So the thing is, what I'm hearing is that Hashem will never have an eye to say, well, then is first. It's always gonna be both. And it's never gonna come to that extreme where Hashem is gonna destroy the world. And he won't even have a thought how bad it is that I'm gonna destroy the world.
Right. So the only way to ensure that there won't even be a thought is if Midas Hadin is transformed into Midas Harachamim. And that's why Rashi comes on the words of Vayiskar Elikim, and he's saying something that's mind-blowing. He's saying something mind-blowing, which is that Midas Vayiskar Elikim, God remembered, this name connotes the divine attribute of judgment, and it was transformed into the attribute of mercy. This is Rashi. The Chassidus is going to come and explain this further. But just Rashi is telling you an unbelievable thing, unbelievable brand new concept, that what actually happened was when Hashem made this bris with Noach, Hashem actually transformed the Elikim into Rachamim so that it should never ever come up, not even in thought, not even a svar, not even a theory. Even if the people are extremely terrible and who knows how many generations, it shouldn't even come up. This concept of the theory of destroying all of humankind completely.
You were saying after the novel, but now what happens? Fast forward to Israel, Gaza.
Okay. 1 minute. We're not there yet. 1 minute.
Still not the whole world, like the Mabul. I mean, the whole world
You
shut
don't
down.
think, I know somebody finally,
Yeah, I'll start with you again, let me just.
Right, sometimes that's
Yes.
the world. Destroy the whole world.
Right, so then
Forget
the
the God,
concept
the
of
whole
there's so
lot
much
of
bad in
nothing.
the world, the question is if it's a punishment.
We weren't
But
destroyed.
how do you know when the person passes away, how do you know if it was a punishment or this is what Hashem wanted, Rachamim? We don't know, so.
It's part of the plan.
Okay,
It's always
but
happening, God, it's
this,
part of the-
this,
yeah.
but everything we said until now, it's only about not destroying humankind completely. It's not about,
Good and bad.
it's not,
In other words, din still
It's
exists,
not
it's
the
only the concept of Rachamim turning into, din turning into Rachamim is only when the world is up for destruction.
yes, when the entire world,
Din still.
yeah. So when we're talking about that there shouldn't be a svara to destroy the entire world completely. Yes, there have been times that you didn't were killed.
Nuclear bombs still happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, we have one more. I just want to tie in, or tie up the loose strings to finish, the regular part, and then we're going to go into the Chassidus part. Okay, so now we could go back and we could answer why Rashi doesn't say anything by the mismatch in Bereshis when it says Yud Kei Vav Kei. Oh, I'm sorry. Mistake. Why does Rashi feel compelled now in Parshas Noach to tell you, to bring up the Yud Kei Vav Kei in Bereshis? Because Rashi says, now that we learned this new thing that we didn't know before, we learned a new thing, and that is that people have the power to transform Midas Hadin into Midas Harachamim. So if that's the case, then we have to, then the same could be the other way around. Then Midas Harachamim could be transformed into Midas Hadin if people misbehave. And therefore, we have to go back and retranslate, re-examine the pasuk in Bereshis. And it's not an abbreviated pasuk, but rather the people were so bad that the attribute of din transformed into that the attribute of mercy transformed into midas hadin, and midas harachamim actually destroyed the world, which is what you said. Sarah, you said that the fact that there was a mabul was actually a thing of rachamim. So rachamim actually came to destroy the world, to cleanse the world. It wasn't just a punishment; it was a cleansing. So that didn't say in the Sicha, but that's a beautiful point. So originally we said, it was an abbreviated pasuk that Midas Racham gave permission for Midas Hadin to destroy the world. Now we're taking that back because we learned something new in Parshas Noach. We're going back and we're saying, no. We have to re-examine what we said in Parshas Bereshis. It's not an abbreviated pasuk, but rather the people were so bad. And they took Midas Harachamim, they transformed it into Midas Hadin, and Midas Harachamim was actually the one that went, and it was actually Yud Kei Vav Kei that destroyed the world.
What's crazy? What crazy we're saying, we don't know when it's din and when it's Rachamim. Essentially, it's always Rachamim, because all din is really Hashem giving us the opportunity to cleanse, which is always circles back to Rachamim. So it's never din.
Well, there are times it's.
That's why Rachamim.
We don't know.
You said that. My stomach needed it.
If it's based on.
So then all bad is good, essentially, right? Right, all bad is good.
Well, we don't know the
I think it's both.
Tzaddik Rabba, we don't know the way of the world. Hashem needs respect on the world and
The person's behavior to change Rachamim doesn't negate the fact that there are times.
We don't know the ways of
this
Hashem.
world.
There's a quote that I heard in the.
Okay, so I just want to say one thing to answer this question, because it does say here, in Rashi, it says that the attribute of judgment was transformed into attribute of mercy through the prayer of the righteous. So which means through the prayer of the righteous, which means that we hold the key. That when we daven and when we do teshuvah, we have the ability with our hands to change Midas Hadin into Rachamim, to transform Midas Hadin into Midas Rachamim, which is the massive chiddush that they have an infinite God and a finite human being, and through prayer of tzaddikim, we're able to transform din into Rachamim. That's an incredible thing.
One of the things that Hashem said, right, is that when we found out that there was gonna be a Mabel, all we did was build a table instead of davening that there shouldn't be a Mabel to begin with.
Yes.
And he davened, we could have
That's like
transformed
going
the
davening.
din into the rock.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
That's also
Wow.
part of
Wow.
life.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely.
No,
but
it's so interesting, like,
everything retroactively, we could say, we know it was part of the plan, but it's a lesson for us to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever was always part of the plan.
Which is an incredible thing that you just said. An incredible thing. If Noach would have davened for his people, and the davening could have transformed the davening could have transformed the din back into Rachamim. Amazing.
That's essentially what Rashi is saying right here.
Yeah, but also that had to happen. That was a bit.
Yeah, but there is something called.
Right. True, I know, I always think about that, is there, we always go back to, okay, is there really a fear?
Yes.
Yes.
it really is.
It's very complex.
The ones that-
Or God has a plan, this is what.
That's always the question, the idea of, we are fine, we cannot comprehend the
We
reason.
need a conference with God, you know.
Absolutely. Okay, so everyone is saying amazing stuff. All our tefillos, exactly. All our tefillos. Who knows what din, what din was in store, and how much Rachamim is covering up that din because of our tefillos, the power of our tefillos, and not to give up. Amazing.
They wanted to do way worse, and then, it was that level and not, could have been way worse.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
why all the Shem will go in, because they know what they plan for us, they'll-
Exactly.
They
Exactly.
didn't, have, intimacy, so to speak, was that a facet, Masha?
Well, in the table for 40, I'm saying there's all kinds of animals. I'm saying if there will be so many more animals being born at the table, it would be impossible to feed everyone and to live. Well, it depends which kind of animals. You have bunny rabbits and chicks. Okay, I don't know.
What?
Sorry, the way the table way longer than 40 days.
What?
We're locked in the table way longer than 40 days.
Ah, there you go. They were in the table. They were in the table for more. Yeah, 40 days. 40 days was just the rain, but then it took time for the water to subside. And that's why he sent out the raven and right? Amazing, amazing. This is why I love this class, because everyone has incredible gems to share. Thank you all.
Can I just share something? I read
Yes.
something. In the end, it's all good. If it's not good, it's not the end. And that's really, we're just doing whatever Hashem's will. And in between, we're trying our best, and in between, you say, this is what Hashem wants, this is what Hashem wants, this is what Hashem wants.
You know who originally said that?
Yeah.
She would say that. She's not.
Right, but we don't know the whole
She made
picture.
it.
She made it.
She made it.
She herself made it.
But
We
that's
didn't
what
make
it's
it.
a lesson, yeah.
Okay. So now we're ready for the Chassidus part.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm saying that in itself is a beautiful lesson to understand why Elohim, why Havaya. I'm saying that itself is a complete topic. What is it? Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so now the Rebbe asks another question. We're coming out from Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, right? Sukkot. Now it's V'Yaakov Hal Chadarka. We have to take all the inspiration that we got from Rosh Hashanah and Kippur and the whole month of Tishrei and bring it through the whole year. So already, right away, Parshas Noach, we're going to talk about Rosh Hashanah for a minute. In Rosh Hashanah, thank you, Gitti, for helping me find this. We have Malchios, Zechronos, and Shofros, right? We're crowning Hashem as king. There's many verses that we talk about crowning Hashem as king. We talk about different things that we remind Hashem of, remembrances, and then we have the Shofros. This is the davening, the Musaf davening of Rosh Hashanah. So in Musaf Rosh Hashanah, we're talking about all the things that we want Hashem to remember, or the things that Hashem remembered. What does it say? V'gam es Noach Be'ahava zacharta. Also, Noach, with love, you remembered. So Rebbe asks the question, it's the Jewish people here that are crowning Hashem as king. Why are we talking about Noach? That Hashem remembered Noach. Why are we saying that Hashem remembered? Yeah, it's a couple of lines over here. V'games Noach ba'ava zacharta, v'tifkedehu b'dvar Yeshua v'rachamim, v'aviyacha esmei hamabel l'shachis kol basar pnei raya ma'alelehem. Al kain zechroinei ba lefanecha Hashem lekeinu. Keeps going. So you also remember Noach with love, and were mindful of him with a promise of salvation and mercy when you brought the waters of the flood to destroy all flesh because of the wickedness of their deeds. Why are we mentioning Noach here?
Because the Shoshana is the day that we crown Hashem king, and if we wouldn't coordinate him as a king, the world wouldn't go on.
True. But the priority is that the Jewish people are crowning Hashem as king, and then the result of that is that Hashem is the king of the whole world. True. So the answer is that when Hashem remembered Noach, what did Hashem remember? Hashem remembered the neshamas of the Yidden that are going to come from Noach. And it uses a very interesting word in the Machzer. It says, be'ahava, with love. What is Hashem remembering with love? What is this love piece? Hashem loves the Yidden. Why? Because what is Hashem remembering? Hashem is remembering that the essence of the neshama is way above din, way above rachamim. The essence of the neshama is one with Hashem. When Hashem remembers Noach, and remembers the neshamas of the Yidden that come from Noach, and when Hashem remembers that the neshamas of the Yidden come from him himself, it awakens in Hashem this tremendous ahava, that the Yidden, that our neshama comes from a place that's even above din and above rachamim. Absolutely.
No matter what, right?
Now I know why we love it so much, because they are
Okay.
Hashem gave parents, by the way. Hashem could have just like dropped children on this world. He didn't need our help, trust me. It's the comparison, because we don't see Hashem, so we need,
Yeah, also think the relationship between a husband and wife. We should learn about relationships, so we know about how to have a relationship with Hashem.
Amazing. Okay. So what's happening?
Relationships in general.
How come we don't go there? We don't cover spouse here.
That's kind of never end.
Okay, so Hashem remembered the neshamas of the Yidden that would come from Noach, and therefore we mention it in our Rosh Hashanah davening. And as a result of Hashem remembering Noach, what happens? Hashem made a bris. Hashem made this pact that what? That this world is going to be sustained forever. And what kind of world is going to be sustained forever? A kind of world where Yidden could achieve the purpose of creation, which is to reveal Hashem. So why is it so important to speak about, why is it so important in our davening to mention Noach, that Hashem remembered Noach? Because when Hashem remembered Noach, which is basically the neshamas of Yidden, through that, Hashem made this pact that the world would exist, and not just any world, but Hashem made this bris that there should be what kind of world should be forever. What kind of world should never be destroyed? A world where Yidden could serve Hashem and reveal Hashem. That's the kind of world. That's why it's so necessary. So necessary. That's the beginning of everything. If not for Hashem remembering Noach, he would have never made this bris to sustain a world for who? The world was created for the Yidden, a world where Hashem's original goal could be achieved. And what was Hashem's original goal? The Yidden should be able to reveal Hashem in this world. That's why it's so important for us to mention Noach on Rosh Hashanah. Okay. What really happened here? There's a story here. The story is, number one, Hashem remembered Noach. And then Noach came out of the teva. And then what did Noach do? Noach brought karbanos. And there's a medrash that says that number one, Hashem remembered Noach. Number two, Noach brought karbanos. Number three, Hashem made this bris. There's a medrash that says that what compelled Hashem, what gave Hashem, so to speak, the power, what made Hashem make this bris? The amazing smell that came from the karbanos of Noach. And the medrash says, it wasn't just the smoke of the karbanos of Noach, because when you're burning meat, it doesn't have this most amazing aroma. What was added?
Yeah, I need to
Okay, it's coming. It's coming. A second.
Was it the summon? Was it?
Where's page 9? Here.
That's interesting. We do have some, yeah.
Okay, here it is. Page 8 and page 9. Page 8. Okay. The pleasing, in light of this, we can also understand the teaching of the Medrash on the verse. Hashem smelled the pleasing aroma, which led to the covenant with Noach. And Hashem said, I will not continue to curse the land. The pleasing aroma. What is this pleasing aroma? The pleasing aroma, it's not just Noach's karbanos. It's the pleasing aroma that arose when Abraham, our forefather, was in the fiery furnace. The pleasing aroma that arose when Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were in the fiery furnace. And the pleasing aroma of the generation of forced apostasy, which means it's the aroma of the generation of the Eser Harugei Malchus, the generation of where this particular generation and more generations, where the Romans gave the Yidden a choice, either convert or die. And the Yidden chose to die on Mesiras Nefesh. So, I'm getting the chills. Let's go again. What happened? Number one, Hashem remembers Noach, meaning Hashem remembers the neshamas of the Yidden that are going to come from Noach, and he remembers his love for them. Why? Because they're so cherished. Why? Because they come from the essence of Hashem, which is above Din and Rachamim. Hashem remembers the neshamas. And then he smelled this pleasing aroma of what? Of Mesiras Nefesh, of who? Of Avraham, of Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, and of all Yidden in all generations that give up their life for Mesiras Nefesh, with Mesiras Nefesh, the ultimate sacrifice, to give up their life for Hashem. This is what Hashem smelled, even though it was going to be in the future. And this is what compelled Hashem to make this bris, to make this pact, where Midas Hadin is transformed into Midas Harachamim. that the world will never be totally destroyed. That's the sequence of events that happened. Now, okay. Why wasn't Noach's sacrifice enough? Why was enough not Noach's karbanos? Why wasn't that enough? Why do you need the Mesiras Nefesh, which is the highest form of serving Hashem, of Avram and Hanai, Mishael, Azariah, and all the Yidden through all generations, including the soldiers today who are in Lebanon and Gaza, who are giving up their life literally this entire year for the sake of Hashem, in addition to all the Kedoshim that were killed just because they were Jewish. Okay, this is the aroma that Hashem smelled that caused him to do what? To make this pact. Why is it necessary?
Sacrificing him, and sacrificing your life is a whole different level.
Okay. So I'm trying to process this together with you. This world, the Olam Milashon Helem, this world, nature, is governed and run by which name of Hashem? Elokim. Teva, nature, is Gematria Elokim. Right? So nature, the way it should be, is that nature doesn't stay the same. Nothing stays the same. Nature, people don't live forever. The trees don't, the trees are changing colors. The way nature works is that things end up dying, that things end up, coming to an end. But here, Hashem wants to make a pact in a natural world that the world should never cease. That means that the seasons should never cease, and the cycles, the way the sun and the moon, all that should never cease. How is that going to happen? Hashem has to take his infinite power and put it into nature. Hashem has to take Ein Sof, his infinity, and put it into nature in order to make this bris that the world should never, that the entire world should never be destroyed again. How is he going to get that done? How is Hashem going to get that done? The way Hashem can do that is only, so the source of nature is Midas Hadin. Hashem has to transform Midas Hadin into Midas Harachamim. Rachamim represents the revelation of God. Din represents the concealment of God. Hashem had to transform Midas Hadin into Midas Harachamim. Hashem had to put his infinity into the natural world in order to create this pact that this world, this natural world, which really should cease to exist, should not cease to exist, and should not cease to exist. And from where is the power going to come from to take infinity and to put it into a finite natural world, so that the finite natural world should be able, that we should be able to reveal godliness in a world of concealment? Where is that going to come from? The Mesiras Nefesh of a Jew. Why? Hanani, Mishael, and Azariah, and Avram Avinu, and all the Jews that G'dal Kadosh Hashem, what do they have in common? they believed in Hashem and would not serve Avodah Zarah and would not betray Hashem. Mesiras Nefesh means that no matter the darkness, no matter the concealment, my relationship with Hashem does not cease and stays forever. And you need that power of Mesiras Nefesh in order to make a pact to have a world that will not cease and will stay forever. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, that's Yitzchak was Mesiras Nefesh, the same thing. Okay, so let's see what has to happen. Hashem wants to make a bris. Hashem wants to make a bris that this world, as we know it, should never be destroyed. And what kind of world should never be destroyed? A world where Yidden could reveal Hashem. A world where Yidden could serve Hashem. How is that pact going to happen when we're talking about a natural world when nature usually does come to an end? So the only way that could happen is if Hashem goes to the source of nature. The source of nature is Midas Hadin. And Hashem transforms the source of nature into Rachamim, which is the source of revelation. And through Hashem doing that, He gives us the power that in a concealed world, we will be able to reveal Hashem. And how does Hashem have the power to take his infinity and put it into this natural world to keep this world forever? Through Mesiras Nefesh, which is an infinite bond with God that's above nature, above what makes sense. And it's a bond that nothing could touch. It's a forever bond. With a forever bond, Hashem could create a forever world in which we could bond with Hashem in a forever bond. So ultimately, it's a circle. It's a circle. Hashem, who knows the future, used in order for a person to give up his life from Mesiras Nefesh, he has to tap into his neshama. Into what? Into his essence, which is above din. Which is above din and rachamim. So do you see what's going on here? Hashem has this world that was basically just completely destroyed. Hashem wants this world what kind of world? A world where Yidden could serve Hashem and fulfill the goal and the purpose of this earth. Hashem wants this world to be forever.
Isn't there an expression that
There's yeah, okay, so where does Mashiach fit in is a great question. Mashiach is once we achieve the goal, then we have Mashiach. But what's to prevent that a few thousand years in, the Midas Hadin will come and say, people are so bad, just to destroy the world. Hashem needs this world to not be completely destroyed, so that. Go ahead.
He said that to Moshe. I don't remember when, but he said, "I'm just gonna by faith maybe." And Moshe had to fight with him and beg and daven. Like, why did he even have to? I thought the thought would never enter.
The thought was to destroy those people, but to create a new Jewish nation from Moshe Rabbeinu. So and we're talking about the whole world. So Hashem needs to make a pact that this world, as we know it, a world where we could serve Hashem, should exist that we could achieve the goal of revealing Hashem on this earth, so we could have Mashiach. Hashem needs this world to last so that we could accomplish what we need to, so that Mashiach should come, right? How is he going to take a natural world which comes from Midas Hadin, to keep this world in existence until Mashiach comes? Hashem has to go to a place above din. To transform, because if you go to a place above din, then you can transform din to rachamim, not a problem. You have to go above din. What's above din? The only thing that's above din is the relationship of a Jew with Hashem. When a Yid has Mesiras Nefesh, what does Mesiras Nefesh mean? That a Yid will not, even for 1 second, denounce his connection to Hashem, to the infinity of Hashem. Logic could come and say, bow down to the cross. You don't believe it in your heart. And in 5 seconds, you stand up and you live another 120 years and serve Hashem. But a Yid, when a Yid can, we learned this in Tanya. When a Yid realizes that he's going to be severed from Hashem, he will not agree to sever even for 1 second from Hashem, even if in 5 seconds later he could come back. No, not even for 1 instant does a Yid want to be separated from Hashem. The Yetzer Hara convinces us that, we do a little Avera, we're not really separate from Hashem. But when all the foolishness, when we can't fool ourselves anymore, because when our enemies came and said, you give up your either give up your religion or die Kiddush Hashem, we couldn't fool ourselves anymore, right? So what does a Yid say? He says, not even for 1 second do I want to be separate from Hashem. And he actually dies. I'm Mesiras Nefesh, which means that his relationship with Hashem is a place that's even above din. It's above any attribute of Hashem. It's a place of essence. When a Yid's essence, when a Pintele Yid is revealed, when is a Yid Da'al Kiddush Hashem? When his essence, when his Pintele Yid is revealed. That he is one with the essence of Hashem, and that's above anything. So Hashem had to go to the place of Mesiras Nefesh. He had to go to the smoke from the furnace of Avram and of Hanan, Mishael, and Azariah, and of the gas chambers in Auschwitz,
And forward to now.
and the Spanish Inquisition, and now. Absolutely.
Can you change something if you have such a high essence, what would be your din? Like if you have such a connection, can you make a change? Can you take
Yes. So Hashem took the fire. Hashem took the bombs and the explosions and the fire and the smoke of all this smoke of Yidden actually dying al Kiddush Hashem. Whether it be in the order of the phase of the Spanish Inquisition, whether it be the ovens in Auschwitz, whether it be the smoke of the bombs, and the missiles and everything else. Hashem takes all that smoke, and from and that smoke, that Mesiras Nefesh, that does not see that no matter what darkness, no matter what's going on, no matter the challenge, no matter that doesn't make sense, no matter the pain, no matter the suffering, that no matter what, our connection to Hashem is forever, no matter what. And Hashem takes that connection, that forever connection that we have with Hashem, that Mesiras Nefesh connection, and with that, he infused the natural world with infinite power to make this world be everlasting, so that in this world Yidden could achieve the ultimate goal, which is to reveal godness on this earth, which happens when we have Mesiras Nefesh. And that's the ultimate. It doesn't have to mean only when we die. As a matter of fact, it might be easier to die on Mesiras Nefesh than to live with Mesiras Nefesh. And each and every one of us.
It also didn't have a choice. It wasn't like Spanish Inquisition. If you converted, there was more of a challenge because you either converted or you didn't. In the gas chambers, there was no choice. It wasn't like, oh, if you did something, then you stayed alive.
Right,
You weren't, you were. So it's an interesting.
We had a lot of din at that time, a lot of Hashem, there was a lot of Elohim in the room at that time.
Say, but it's an umbrella of.
But what Hashem did, I'm learning this from this Rashi, is that Hashem transformed.
He transformed that din by making the world continue, and by making the births, he turned that din into rachamim so that the world could continue. So the gas chamber fire wasn't din. He turned that din into rachamim so that the world could continue, and eventually we should be able to continue revealing his name.
Absolutely, and that's why.
I know.
It goes back.
Ah.
At the same time, there was din.
So what are we saying? What are we saying? When they the Jews died al Kiddush Hashem, whether it be in Spain or the Fez or going into the gas chambers or in Gaza or in Lebanon, what's on their lips? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Ani Ma'am Emunah Shlema, right? It's not just, oh, it wasn't their choice. But what was on their lips when they died? They were revealing Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. They were revealing godliness on this earth. So what happened was way back when Hashem made that pact, with Noach, based on what's going to be in the future, right? What Hashem did was he took Midas Hadin and he transformed it into Midas HaRachamim. What a Rachamim doesn't just mean pity. Rachamim means revelation. Din doesn't just mean a judgment and a stick to hit someone. Din means concealment. Through the mysterious nefesh of the future generations, Hashem transformed the source, Midas Hadin, which is the source of nature, giving us the ability that when specifically in the darkest, most challenging times, in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, when there was a lot of light, there was no need for mysterious nefesh. It's actually the Elokim that brings out the mysterious nefesh. It's specifically in the time of darkness, in the time of pain, in the time of suffering, in the time of the time that we have a choice, either convert or die. That when the Elokim, when the din, when you see the din, right? That is specifically when you have Elokim. That is specifically when we have the opportunity for revelation, to reveal Hashma Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, to reveal godliness in this world, which is the ultimate rachamim. So what we're saying is transforming din to rachamim. It's not just something that sounds nice. Transforming din.
Your partnership. Mindy keeps on saying that, and I keep on seeing it's a partnership. And it builds on.
You're transforming the din to rachamim.
Right,
Partnership means that they're equal. You're not. You're essentially putting rachamim above din.
Yeah. So not only is it a partnership,
They're hand in hand.
it's more than just hand in hand. That's what we learned. That's what we learned from that Rashi. Not just it's hand in hand, but that the racham takes precedence. The revelation takes precedence over the concealment.
So we could kind of step up. You're saying it's a process. Okay, fine. Okay.
Everything's a process.
Let's say, right? The Holocaust wasn't Hashem punishing us for anything, right? God is not a punishment. You're saying it's a revelation. Anything bad that's happening, you could reveal Hashem's goodness.
It was an opportunity for revelation.
People see like, oh, what happened that Hashem brought the Holocaust? What happened that Hashem brought now this thousands of people dying? It's not because he's punishing us for bad, but it's hard to.
It's murder. It's very hard. No pun intended.
You know, but it is.
Ultimately,
Someone said, we're still gonna thank Hashem for October 7th. We're still gonna thank Hashem.
ultimately, Vayiskar Elokim.
Now, of course, everything is gonna be.
And we're done. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So something bad happening is really for a purpose.
In our eyes, it seems bad, and we ask Hashem to please take the pain away 100%. But we have to realize that when we see din, right? It's always an opportunity to reveal Hashem, to reveal Hashem. So, and what happened October 7th? How many more Shabbos candles are being lit? How many more mitzvahs are being done? How many more tefillin are being done? How many more, you know? So do we like it? Is it fun? It's not fun. It's not fun. But we have to. We're just getting a bigger picture. We're getting a bigger picture, and we're understanding that Vayizkar Elokim, specifically when there's Elokim, specifically when there's din, specifically when there's concealment. That is when we have the opportunity for the greatest revelation and to reveal Hashem. Okay, I know I said a lot and I know that it's very up in the sky. But the takeaway lesson is that we have to ask ourselves, how can I be a Mesiras Nefesh Yid? How can I serve Hashem with Mesiras Nefesh today? I might not be in Gaza, I might not be in the IDF, I might not be living in the time of the Spanish Inquisition or the time of the Holocaust, but what can I give up in my life? Maybe it's, an hour of my day to help someone else, or to take someone to a doctor's appointment, or to, learn with someone, or go out of my way for someone, make supper for someone, give a smile at someone. What could I do to be a Mesiras Nefesh Yid, to tap into that incredible relationship that I have with Hashem, an essence relationship that I have with Hashem?
I feel it doesn't have to be so big, or could it be something as quote unquote simple as parenting?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly, it doesn't have to be going out and doing things like.
Mesiras Nefesh, giving up your anger. Mesiras Nefesh is Mesiras Haratzon. I want to scream and I don't. That's it.
So some people are very good. I have more free time.
So that's everybody has to look for themselves, what is my.
That's Mesiras Nefesh of today, to give up our desires for Hashem.
But I like what Suri said, and you know what, I think that
I forgot what I said.
turning that pain into, like, it's not all about me, like sometimes you have or a friend or someone causes you pain and you want to be resentful and you want to rehash the story 100 times, as opposed to, this is what Hashem wants right now.
Yeah, but raising, there's also to say that when it touches the heart, per minute it pinches.
No, it's a lot of pinch and you could sit with
And you
pinch,
could sit-
but I'm saying, but I had this,
That's my
like,
emotional piece.
I know I had this ongoing saga for a while with a friend, and I just came to like a certain, it wasn't by chance that I would, whatever, it was an interesting thing, I was somewhere and she was sitting right near me, and I just read an article about if you let go, it's not about.
Hashem gave you that article
No,
at the right time.
no, it's so interesting, it was like this article about when you let go, you're open to more relationships, as opposed to rehashing and rehashing and rehashing, and it doesn't mean,
Again, just.
you could just be her acquaintance, you could just smile at her, and you know what, it was such an interesting,
So for you.
so for me, that was their nefesh. Like, I forget very well,
Say the old.
Yeah.
Helps raise,
Yeah.
and when somebody hurts you, know that it's not against you personally. It's who this person.
Exactly. Whatever you tell us, so it helps you get over it, not react.
No, it was
not-
such an
Other
interesting
things
example.
happen personally, it's just their way of being.
Any mantra that helps you.
It's not, she's not
Yeah,
that
behave.
kind of friend that you.
Right, and there's a process of grieving,
Right.
you would like,
You don't have to be
even with
that friend.
siblings, you would like your siblings to behave a certain way towards you.
Right.
You would like that friend to behave a certain way towards you.
Yeah, you have to be that
No,
friend.
no, it's not an attack against